This is the routines program. It has over 100 different routines which are listed in these columns. We're going to take a look at some of those routines. Here's a curved routine. Makes different colors in a circle. Over here is a variable called Q. It's a control register. What if I change it from 20 to 10? Q is the width of a line. Look, the lines no longer fill their space. So there's what Q's for. If I click on it at the top, the number goes up. If I click on the bottom, it goes down. Make it go back up. Now let's go to another one. Here's straight lines. We see these lines are moving downward. Well, let's see what happens if we change Q here. So we'll go up here, change it to 15. Lines get wider. We change it to 25. Oh, they get much wider. We'll change it back. That's another routine. We click anywhere in here and it'll take us back to the first home page. Okay, now we'll go to ovals. Here we see a lot of ovals. Well, here let's change the value of S, which is the size of the ovals. Let's click at the bottom of the one and make it smaller. Now the size is just 25. Well, we'll put it back to 125. We'll go to another routine. Here's one called rectangles. There are the rectangles. That's up here at the top. It says it's set T to 50. That's how tall the rectangle is. Let's see what happens if we make it 150. Oh, that's pretty big. Click on the bottom of the one to change it back to 0. Go on to another routine. Now we're going to go on to polygon routine. Alright, there we see two polygons. The one on top kind of hides the star underneath, but you can see the points on the star underneath. Now we're going to go over here and just move this around. X determines where it's at, so I'm going to make X smaller. Well, as X gets smaller, it gets closer to the left side. And we'll make X get bigger again. That lets you know what X does. Now we're going to go to star 5. Now we see a whole lot of stars. Well, let's see what Y does. Well, in here, let's see, we find Y. Here, Y is modded with 400. That means it can only be a value from 0 to 399. And we know Y is the distance from the top. So if we change that mod to just 300, by clicking the bottom, now the center of these stars can't get any closer to the bottom than 300. Well, we'll click on the top to put it back to 400 so it fills the screen. Now we'll go on to characters. Character number 5. Devonshire. This is Devonshire software. Well, let's look for the color. CLR. Right here is the color. Well, let's change instead of 40 to 41. That means we're adding blue to it. 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. We're adding more blue to the color. Now let's take the blue back away again by clicking on the bottom of the number and put it back to 0. The next one is overlay 5. And overlay 5 shows a chicken, and then it puts a black rectangle over top of the chicken and then slowly fades it away. Well, here it sets the value of P to the character it's going to show. And here it says P is 14. Well, let's make it 15, 16, 17. P stands for what picture it shows. I just keep going through the list of pictures. So we'll take this and put it back down at 14. That's the way it started. Now we click anywhere to go back, and we go to borders. Here's a border. Now, in the border, this is one pattern, the outside brown. This is another pattern inside of it. Now we'll go up here and we'll see where the patterns are. Here's one at 192. Well, let's make that 193, 194. Oh, it's going to get too big. Start going down. 3, 2, 1, 0. So this rectangle, an oval is being drawn inside of it. But the oval inside of it goes in the opposite direction. For instance, if this was drawn clockwise, if you draw a pattern inside of it that goes counterclockwise, it'll make a hole. Now, after borders, we go to Pics. Here it shows what happens when you blur a picture. Pics can blur pictures. Well, we won't change the blurring. We'll just show you that there's two things lined up here and show you that if we change the value of y, this guy just moves down just fine, but this guy moves out of his special area where he has to be. We'll put him back. Uh-oh, we went the wrong way. By putting back, there he is. Now we're going to go to morphing. Now we see a M and an F. Well, now those are patterns. And we're going to look to see if we can find the pattern. Here, pattern 70. We'll make that pattern 71. Here's, now the M's with a G. We'll make it pattern 72. Then it's morphing with an H. 73. Morphing with an I. So that tells us what it's going to morph with. We'll go on. Next we'll take one of the drawings, drawing 5. Drawing 5 is spinning around. Sets the value of A to 720, but we don't know what that means. So to find out what it does, let's make it 820. It has effect on X. Moved everything to the right 100 positions. Well, if that's true, we'll make it a lower number. Yep, it keeps moving it over. So whatever A is doing, it has something to do with the X value, which is how far from the right the image is. That's drawing. Now we're going to go to moving average. A moving average was used to determine these peaks. That's the sum of random numbers determine how far those peaks went out. Well, let's see what we can change up here and try and figure out what it does. Here's 32. Let's make it 132. Whoa, whatever that does, it made it a lot smaller. So we'll put it back. Alright, we're gonna skip the signs and the cosines and such and go to the gets and puts. Here, this image was cut into blocks. It's hard to tell, it's going so fast, but it went and got the whole image, then broke it into little squares, and then assembles it from those little squares. That's get and put. Now we're going to go to rotate. Now what's unique about these circles that are going around is that the black dot in each circle, it seems like it stays at the same place, but that's only because it's rotating in the other direction as it goes around. Let's rotate. We'll go to size. This size is determined by the sine wave, because over here it says the size of the vector is determined by the angle R. That's what caused the sign is getting bigger. It's going out further. Next one is canvas. Now this is interesting. There's a couple of them like this. This is using a special instruction called tran. First, these colored bars were put on a canvas. Then this red rectangle was put on a canvas in front of it. Then there was this spiral drawn in black, colored in black. But this tran instruction or action tells it to make black transparent. So you see through the red rectangle and you see what's behind it. An interesting effect. Now we'll go to design. Here letters look like they're growing. Actually, first look like they're standing up, then they're growing. Well, we know S is the size of something, so we'll double it from 100 to 200. Oh, click the wrong place. So there's a click up here, see? Were you paying attention? You can't click here. You have to click up here. I made that mistake just to show you how that worked. Okay, so now I say here I'm supposed to find value of S. It's 100. I'm going to make it 200. Whoa, letters are getting bigger. 300. Now I can't even tell that they're letters. So I'll make them come back. Now I didn't have to go change them by the hundreds. If I change it just by 10 at a time, I could just grow them a little bit. Change it by one at a time and you probably wouldn't even notice they were changing. Alright, let's see one more. We'll go down here to transparent, and here we actually find the same thing that we saw before, but the other one, the spiral was moving and the bars went up and down, and here they're going across. But the tran action down here was used again, plus these have to be on different canvases. So over here somewhere, here, canvas 3. It switched to canvas 3, then it switched back to canvas 2. Alright, that's some examples of the routines to be found in routines. While programming, get information from the glossary by clicking Info. Thank you for watching.